Earlier this year, I reviewed an absolute classic of 80s cinema entitled the video, "What Do You Even Say About Back to the Future?" Because honestly, it's one of those movies everybody's at least heard about. It's also practically flawless. The only way you dislike Back to the Future is if you just fundamentally hate the premise, or Michael J. Fox's face for some reason. And today, I'm getting some pretty serious deja vu, because we're talking about It's a Wonderful Life, a movie so iconic it's literally preserved in the American Library of Congress next to classics such as 2001: A Space Odyssey, 12 Angry Men, and yeah, Back to the Future. But here's the weird part. It's a Wonderful Life didn't become a holiday classic right away. When it first came out, reactions were meh at best. Critics weren't blown away, audiences weren't lining up, and the studio was so underwhelmed that they didn't even bother renewing the copyright, which means that the movie eventually fell into the public domain, and TV stations could air it for free, and suddenly, boom, a yearly Christmas tradition was born. Imagine making one of the greatest movies of all time and the studio just goes, "Yeah, but we're good though, we're good." That's even weirder when you consider that this was directed by Frank Capra, one of the greatest directors ever, and starred James Stewart, who was basically Hollywood's moral compass. Both of these guys adored this movie, and I gotta imagine its eventual success made them pretty happy. Just goes to show, sometimes your best work doesn't hit right away. Sometimes you're the slow burn king. And if you're a younger viewer, or you've been living in a hidden underground civilization with no internet, here's the basic plot. We follow George Bailey, played by Stewart. He's a guy who spent his whole life helping other people, but apparently didn't get much in return. He had dreams and aspirations, but sacrificed them to take care of the people around him, while his younger brother traveled the world and became a war hero. One day, an accident means George might do prison time over something that wasn't even his fault. Frustrated at his own life, George starts to wonder if maybe he wouldn't be better off dead. And then, his guardian angel, Clarence, shows up and gives him the "what if you never existed" treatment. If all of this sounds familiar, it's only because half the planet has done a similar plot. Everything Everywhere All at Once did it, one of the Shrek movies did it, every TV show that's run longer than 3 seasons has done it. This movie practically invented the trope of the miserable protagonist being shown an alternate timeline and deciding things were actually better off as they were before. The point of the movie isn't "just shut up and accept your crappy life, moron." No, it's more about George finding the silver lining in the life he had. Because things aren't looking good in the alternate timeline. George's town is a slum, his kids don't exist, his war hero younger brother died, and worst of all, his wife is a femcel. The real message is that being a decent, compassionate person matters. Like Clarence the Angel says, each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole. Eventually, George realizes how much he matters and begs to be brought back. He figures that going to prison and getting shanked is probably better than having a wife who reads dark romance novels. Can't say I disagree. But when he gets home, plot twist, the whole town has rallied together to help him pay off his debts and avoid jail. And then we get one of the most iconic endings in movie history. George's brother bursts in, watches him surrounded by friends and family, and toasts him as the richest man in town. Just so we're clear, that summary doesn't do the movie justice. Even just thinking about the ending gets me emotional. This movie was over half a century old before I was even born, and it still hits me like a grenade to the face. It captures the spirit of the holidays better than any other movie. Charity, community, and appreciating the people around you. A lot of greatest movies of all time feel like museum pieces by now. You can appreciate their historical value or whatever, but appreciating them as straight-up movies is pretty tough. It's a Wonderful Life, though. It still works, it still lands, it still matters. Like I said at the start, the only way you're not liking this movie is if you just hate the premise. And if that's the case, hey, I respect your right to be wrong. This movie knows exactly what it wants to do, executes it perfectly, and absolutely earns its status as one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made. If you haven't seen it because you're afraid an old black and white film might be boring, trust me, give it a chance. You might be surprised. And that's today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. I'm gonna be taking a break, no new videos for the next few weeks, but when I return, I got a promise to keep. You see, whenever this channel hits a subscriber milestone, I review another Godzilla movie in release order, and thanks to that Dispatch video blowing up way more than I expected, yeah, we got ourselves some new subs, and really, I just want to take a second to thank everybody who subscribed, really, thanks. So, get ready, because the next video, it's gonna be East vs. West with a review of 1962's King Kong vs. Godzilla. See you there.